Alright, so I'm starting to primer with some Kill 2's latex primer sealer stain blocker. This says it's for plaster and drywall. And I only did pretty much, I sanded half of the wall, the ceiling. And it looked like this, there's spots of plaster and then you got the compound, joint compound. So I was gonna skim coat it, but then I said, oh heck, let me try a little section and I'm gonna let this dry overnight. And then I'll come look at it tomorrow and see if I have a lot of, tiger stripes or, lighter and darker shades. If I do, then I'll take another video. I'll let you guys know. That means that I'll have to skim coat everything if it does. I'm not using oil-based primer because pretty much all of the adhesive is taken off of the ceiling. So it should just be sticking to plaster. If I had a lot of adhesive that I couldn't get off, then probably the oil base would be a better option. Alright, so I had some cracks, put some fiber tape on him, then I went over it with a 4-inch trowel, real thick with some hot mud, and then I'm going over it with some regular mud with a 12-inch trowel. I sanded this down before I put the 12-inch trowel, what I did right here. And so I still got a lot to do, still got some cracks and stuff to repair up top. So got that side to do on the wall and all over there. You can see I started doing the fireplace. Still gotta take the glue off here, but this side has been done. So this is quite a bit of work, fixing up old plaster, but in the end, hopefully it's worth it. Alright, so today I skim coated this wall over here because it really was, so many cracks that I filled. So what happens is you have, your cracks that you filled, and then you have your plaster here. So when you primer it, you have like your primer soaking into the plaster and not this, so then it's kind of uneven. So that's why I'm skim coating the walls, because I did the ceiling and it just, you can see little spots where it's lighter than, where the primer just soaked in. And so I'm trying to eliminate that. That way I don't have to use so much primer and so much paint. So this wall has been done today. It's still drying. I had a little bit of old paint here because it was really no wallpaper there, so I just kind of left it there and I skim coated over that too. But yeah, it's looking good. It's a lot of work. You gotta sand your old between coats when you're doing your cracks. Like I got a crack here, so I just put some fiber tape on here, and then I put a 10-inch trowel and I put some hot mud over it, and then I gotta wait for it to dry and then go over it one more time with a 12-inch regular joint compound in the bucket stuff, all purpose, and then you gotta sand it down in between coats. Well, I do, because I want it nice and smooth. And then you make a mess, you gotta vacuum up your mess. Then you gotta wipe it down with a sponge because you got dust everywhere. And then you got like dust everywhere. So this is really hard work. It's not something you can just wham bam and you're done. It takes a lot of time. I've been working on it, every other day for a couple weeks actually. I've been working. I'll put like 5 hours into it and I'll take a break and then get bored. And then I'll start working on it again another day, or I'll take a few days off or whatever. And I got all that done up there. So this whole wall is finally done and can be primered. I just need to scuff it with some sandpaper real quick. I gotta just fix that one part here. And then go over that one more time with Skim Coat. And then this whole thing will be ready for primer. This over here was already, the wallpaper was removed, so I just kind of patched up the little holes that it had. Here I just scraped this whole wall down yesterday, and it's, you know, I kind of saved this one for last. There's a little tiny hairline crack, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. I might fiber tape that up and put some joint compound, hot mud over it. And so this one I'm almost done over here as well. That one's ready for skim coating. I started skim coating right here. You can see where I did. And all this right here I just did like 5 minutes ago, so it's still wet. And I stopped about right here because it's dinner time. But you can see I still got ways to go. I got to do all this, skim coat, and over there, and then right here. And then I got to come back over here and take off this adhesive. And clean it up and skim coat this as well. There was a crack that I found, so I'll probably put some tape on here, some fiber tape, and go over that a couple times. But yeah, this is definitely hard work, so if any of you guys are out there that work with sheetrock, plaster, man, thumbs up to you guys for doing this for a living, because, you know, I'm just a do-it-yourself guy, and this is kicking my butt. I can't wait to be done and be done with this room, because yeah, I'm tired of the mess, tired of the dust. Still got to fix that, but I'm still working on the bathroom upstairs. But that's it for now, guys. We'll see how it looks later on. And one more thing about the skim coating. What you want to do, what I do, is I get my square, you know, my pan, put some of that all-purpose in it, and I put a little bit of water, and I mix it up until it's a little runny. A lot of runny, actually, almost to the point where you're grabbing some with your knife and it falls off. So you got to kind of grab it with a certain way and then scoop it on, because if you turn it over, it'll literally fall. That's how wet you want it. At least that's how I got it, how wet I got it. And the reason why, because if it's not that wet and you have it somewhat on the dry side, it's not really going to be good for skimming. You're going to put one row on and it's going to take up all your mud. So you want it liquidy so you can really get it everywhere and not run out so fast. A few places I got to sand. But yeah, this is coming out good. A lot of steps, like I said, a lot of steps. Alright, started skim coating again on the walls. I did from where I left off, right here. Did all that, skim coated up there. Did this wall here. Did right there. That's all skim coated, still drying, still a little wet. Then I started here, skim coating. I don't know if you remember, there was a little crack here. I ended up putting some fiber tape on that and some hot mud on that spot, so that's not dry, so I stopped. So I still got a skim coat right here and there once I go over that one more time, and that'll be ready. And I skim coated all this already. I went and scraped off all the adhesive here. And I put some more fiber tape. There was a crack there and a couple cracks here, so I put some fiber tape on that. Went over it with some hot mud. A couple more spots, a couple little cracks up there I want to get with some hot mud. Skim coated this side piece here, all the way up. A couple little spots I just missed. See, I'd prefer skim coating over plaster. I mean primering over the skim coat rather than primering over this, because this plaster is just going to absorb all the primer real fast, and it's just, to me, I think it's a little nicer. All the little imperfections you got in the wall when you take off the wallpaper is going to be there, and that way this fills in all the little imperfections, so it's going to look like brand new again. So that's why I'm skim coating the room. I didn't have to. But I think it's going to come out way nicer by doing that. Did the middle here. Did a little spot over there that I missed, corner, and I just did the fireplace area. So this room is completely done. The walls are all skim coated with all-purpose mud stuff right here. USG. Again, I did water it down a little bit, and I'm glad I'm done, because this has been taking me far too long to do. I skim coated every wall except for this one, because this one was painted. It's fairly smooth, and I'm gonna have my curtain here anyway. You're not gonna see that. So next step is to primer the walls. I'm gonna be primering again with some Keel 2 latex stuff right here. It's water based. Oh yeah, I did use some latex caulk all-purpose latex, acrylic latex caulking. And what I did with that is I caulked all of my corners here. I recaulked here on the baseboards, up in the top, under the baseboard there, all the way around. All the corners, again, all the baseboards all the way around. I had to recaulk this one because when you take the wallpaper off, all these corners, you got to take the old caulking out. That's why I had to caulk everything all over again. And this is a paintable caulking. You don't want to use like silicone. Some of that stuff is not paintable. I think everything's caulked up, ready to paint. Might need a recaulk in here too. But yeah, it's looking good finally. And then after I primer these walls, I gotta go back and I started chipping this away, all the old paint off where it was really bad. So I gotta continue doing that. Any little imperfections I gotta fill in. And same there. This is where the old piping was for the heater. All that needs to be fixed up a little bit better. And then I can figure out what colors to paint this. I definitely don't want green. And that's what it was. Gotta get rid of the green. All right, finally got these walls ready for primer now. So I went and finished up the caulk work, caulked up all my, all the cracks in the window sill, and down there and up there and everywhere pretty much. Even over here where it was never caulked before, and on that side. Did up there, I even did up above this little shelf here. So everything's caulked and everything's been sanded in here. Vacuumed. Everything's been sanded, wall's been sanded. It's been sponged, cleaned with this sponge. Yeah, it's all ready now for primer, thank God. Doors are not ready yet, but this was more work on the walls. The doors I'll do later, the windows, around the windows and all that, I'll prep that for paint later. Same with the cornices up there. I have to, the cornice needs a lot of work, so I'm going to do that after I primer the walls. I'll start working on that next. Because it's got a lot of chipping paint that needs to be peeled off. And yeah, when I fix that bathroom up there, I'll patch that ceiling. Alright, finished one layer of primer all the way around. This Kills latex primer in white color. I didn't really need to prime here because it's been painted and it's in good condition there. Just spot prime there. Same thing with here, just kind of spot prime spots. But everywhere else got a full coat of primer with the roller. And I guess next is the work on these baseboards. I gotta get all this cardboard out and put some plastic down because I really need to get into the baseboards to the very bottom edge to sand it and primer that. And same thing with these. All these windows need to be sanded, and any imperfections need to be filled with some wood putty and stuff before it's primered. And that's what I'll work on next. And then after that, I'll be working on the cornices up there at the top as well. Those need, again, we got like a 2-foot section that needs TLC right there, and we got like a 8-foot section here that needs a lot of attention, a lot of sanding and scuffing off that old paint. And a couple other little tiny little spots, little cracks I gotta fix over here, and that's it. And then we're pretty good. A couple little chip spots that I think I'll just fill with some mud and smooth out, because it's only chipping on a few spots.